Hi everyone, welcome back to the Cross Training Women Weekly Live. I'm Allie, Christian health and fitness coach and the founder of Cross Training Women, where I help women transform their body and health biblically so that they can live fully and abundantly and carry out their God-given purpose. As you join, or if you're watching the replay, please say hello in the comments. I love being able to say hello and know who's here with me. And I would love to know who here has some bad food habits that they would like to break. Let me know in the comments. Well, if you are raising your hand or if you're nodding your head yes, then today's video is for you. I've got 4 tips that will help you break bad food habits. So let's go ahead, let's dive into these 4 tips. Tip number 1, and listen up because this is the number 1 key to breaking bad food habits, and that's to create a healthy environment. Your environment powerfully shapes your decisions way more than you realize. And so if you create a healthy environment, you will set yourself up for success. But if you don't, then you're just going to set yourself up for failure. So if you want to be successful, if you want to break bad food habits, then the first thing you need to do is a kitchen makeover. And what I mean by that is you need to get rid of any and all foods that you know you shouldn't be eating or that you don't want to eat, and then replace those items with the healthy, nutritious foods that you do want to eat. I love what one of the plant-based influencers, she's a chef that I follow, she says, if it's in your house, it's in your mouth. And it's so true, isn't it? If an unhealthy food is sitting in your cabinet or it's sitting out on the table or your countertop, eventually you or your loved one will eat it. And so you need to get rid of it and not allow it into your home. You need to have your home be a safe place for you. You cannot rely on your willpower. Your willpower, it will run out. There's going to be times when you're tired or when you're hungry, or in my case, when you're hangry and maybe you don't want to cook. You just want whatever you can get your hands on quickly, or something that doesn't really take any effort. Or maybe you're an emotional eater and something happened at home and it triggered you to eat. And in either of those cases, you're not going to be seeking out the healthy, nutritious foods. No, you're going to go for those comfort foods, those junk foods that are in your cabinet. You're going to go for those chips or the cookies or crackers, the ice cream treats. But if you don't have any of those items in your house, then you can't eat them. You can't default back to any of your bad eating habits. It forces you to make a healthy choice. So that's number 1. It's a must if you want to break your bad food habits. You have to create a clean, healthy food environment. And, this goes for your car or maybe your office. My mom, for years and years, she had this bad habit of eating licorice in her car. She would buy these jumbo packs of red licorice from like Sam's Club or something, and she would just keep them in her car. And then whenever time she would get in and she's driving somewhere, she's pulling out one of those licorices and eating it. And then, after that, it was like granola bars and pretzels. And so for her, she's got to create a healthy environment in her car to set herself up from success and break her from that bad habit of eating food in her car. But, maybe yours is your office space. Maybe you can't resist candy and you've got this candy dish on your desk. Well, if that's the case, then you need to get rid of the candy dish on your desk. Otherwise, I promise you, you're not going to break your bad habit of eating candy throughout the day at your desk. So bottom line is create a healthy environment that sets yourself up for success. Number 2 is you have to be patient. Breaking bad food habits is hard. Habits are hardwired into us. We just do them without really thinking about it. And that can be very beneficial if it's a good habit. But when it's a bad habit that we want to break, it makes it very challenging. And unhealthy foods, just like cigarettes or other drugs, they bring an extra challenge because they're addicting. Processed foods, they are scientifically engineered to get you hooked. Companies, they spend billions of dollars creating this, what they call bliss point, where it's just so good, it's so irresistible, so it's hard to stop. You just keep eating more and more. What happens is your brain, it releases dopamine, which is our feel-good hormone, and which rewards you and motivates you to do more and more of it. And so it's really hard to break that habit. And also, when you're trying to eliminate one of those foods from your diet, you will experience cravings for that because you crave what you eat. And so if you withdraw from a certain food, your body's craving for it will spike, and it will spike for a few days. And so that can be really hard to overcome that, especially if you have like negative symptoms that come along with that, like a bad headache. I know people, they can kind of experience that with trying to get rid of caffeine in their diet or come off from that. And so that can be really difficult to overcome because it's so easy to then just want to go back to that caffeine so that you feel better. So another tip is you have to be patient with yourself. There are probably going to be times when you slip up and you go back to your bad habits, and that's okay. If that happens, just get back on track right away. Don't just throw in the towel or just say like, screw it. Now because I ate one cookie, I might as well just eat 10 cookies. No, that's not a good idea. There's actually this analogy that I've heard that's like if you blow out one of your tires when you're driving, then you might as well just blow out all 3 tires. Like, no one does that, right? That would be silly. So if you go off track, if you eat something you are trying to stay away from, then just learn from your mistakes and move on. Figure out how to prevent that from happening in the future. And maybe that means, oh, I need to better plan and prep beforehand. So maybe you do a really good job Monday through Friday meal prepping and you stay on track, but then Saturday and Sunday, you don't really do that. And so you end up going back to your old food habits. And so instead, okay, I realize, okay, I need to plan and prep better for the weekend so that I'm setting myself up for success. So learn from your mistakes and move on. And just remember that you're on a lifelong journey to better health. It's not going to happen overnight. And one day out of 365 days isn't going to hurt you. So be patient with yourself and be patient with your results. And then tip number 3 for breaking bad food habits is focus on adding, not subtracting. Don't focus on all the foods that you can't eat, all the unhealthy foods that you're trying to break free from. Instead, focus on all the healthy foods that you like and you can eat. If you focus on eating more and more of the good stuff, by default, you'll just leave less room for the bad stuff. And on top of that, the more healthy foods that you eat, the more healthy foods you crave. Your cravings, they will and do change. A lot of your cravings is actually dictated by your gut microbiome. And so if you eat different foods, you'll change your microbiome makeup. And then as a result, your cravings will change. And I promise you, foods that eventually, or foods that once sounded really appealing to you, maybe even some of your favorite foods, eventually they likely will not sound good to you at all. I know for me, for example, I used to love bacon growing up. But now I can't even be around the smell of bacon. There was this one time I was in Costco and they had the samples out and they had bacon and I literally could smell it from afar and I had to like put my shirt over my nose. I like couldn't even breathe it in. It was like cigarette smoke. Like if I'm around someone who's smoking, like I can't stand that smell. I have a hard time breathing. And so I try to like be subtle about it, but sometimes, I just put my shirt over my nose and that's what it was like for the bacon. I was shocked because I kind of felt like I was getting secondhand saturated fat in me. So anyways, all this to say is your cravings will and do change. So just know that will come if you start eating the healthy foods, if you start focusing on eating those and you eat less and less of the bad foods. And then number 4, and the last tip is to surround yourself with a community who supports you and who is on the same page as you. It is so hard to change your diet and lifestyle on your own. You need support from others. Like I said, unhealthy foods, they're addicting. People are addicted to foods. They're food addicts, and addicts, they need help. It's why there's groups like AA, alcoholics, they need support in a community to continue to stay on the right track. And so that's why I love my group coaching program. There's a community there. You get support not just from me, but from other women, which, I would say, and they would say as well, that that's one of the most valuable aspects of the program. It's so nice to know that you're not alone, that others are on the same journey as you, that they face the same temptations and the same struggles, and you help each other get through them. And so if you're serious about breaking bad food habits, if you want to change your diet and lifestyle so that you actually achieve your health goals, then I encourage you to seek out support, seek out a community. And, I would love to welcome you into the Cross Training Woman family. I would love to be the one who supports you, who helps you overcome any of your bad food habits. So just let me know in the comments or send me a message if you're interested in learning more about that. But thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much, Linda. Hey, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining me again. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, hopefully, I will see you guys back here next Tuesday. Bye.